into another October edition of The Hop, the Craft Beer Podcast with Gabe and Steven. I am Steven Humes. That over there is my boy Gabriel Apria.
Hello. What's up? Let's drink some beer, jabronis.
We got another great week of drinking, and we're going to Chicago, which is exciting. Haven't been to the middle of America in a while, and it's gonna be a great episode. Jam-packed, lots to discuss, news and notes, all the fun things. Gabe, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? Anything exciting?
Not really. My weekend was kind of boring. Kind of just
pretty uneventful.
Kept it low key, and I went to an apple orchard. I hung out, ate some apples. I got engaged. We got some apple cider vinegar.
Yes, he did. Our boy he slapped a ring on it. He
literally, that hard, just
slapped it right on her finger. She said yes. Don't worry, everybody. We can proclaim it here on The Hop. I was nervous. I wasn't nervous. I had the utmost.
You were nervous. My heart literally gave it away because I hugged her at one point before I asked her. And my heart was literally beating out of my chest. And so she was like, she knew. She was like, oh, this is it. Relax. Yeah, no. My body and my brain were both like, fucking do it already. Come on. Let's go enjoy our day. This is stressful. Let's do this. So it's beautiful. Your love is inspiring. I'm happy for you. Our listeners are happy for you. And the pictures are beautiful. Check them out on his Instagram. Or the Hops if I can figure out how to reshare that. I don't know how to do that. Yeah, it feels wrong for me to do it. It feels like
he's normally in charge of that. And
it feels like I'm stroking my own ego. The most I'll do is like my own photo, but that's as far as I'll go.
I'll try to figure that out. But if you want to see him at Gaberade67, that's his personal account, and there's beautiful pictures of them and their beautiful love, which he declared here on this very podcast nearly a year ago. And now we've come full circle.
Wow.
Or maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. I've lost track.
Was it when we moved in together, maybe? Probably.
Yeah, it was on New Year's a while ago.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
full circle, so adorable.
They're in love. Gabe's getting wed. I'm still
Steven's trying to figure it out.
I'm still very much keeping the party going, but
Well, ladies, if you want to follow him, he's at Shakespeareist. Slide into his DMs. He loves that.
Slide on in. While we're on the topic, we are at the HO Podcast over on Instagram and on the platform formerly known as Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. Hey, check us out on YouTube. Check out the YouTube channel. Get it kicking over there. We love to see the views, the comments, the subscribing, all the stuff that happens over there. Click the bell. You'll get notified when episodes go live every other Thursday. And tell your friends, tell your family, get your people on The Hop because it's a rockin' good time. And the more the merrier. The larger the community, the better the show is for everyone. So get with us.
Let us know what breweries to hit up next. Let us know what breweries to repeat. Let us know if Chicago-style deep dish is actually better than the alternatives, because I've heard a lot of things. I've heard a lot of people say hell yes. I've heard a lot of people say hell no. I've heard a lot of people say it's like eating a tomato pie and not a pizza pie, like an apple pie, but instead of apples, it's just tomatoes.
I've had them both.
I've never had deep dish. I really want to.
Oh, you've never done it? Oh,
no, not out of choice. The one time I went to Chicago, I don't know what happened.
I went to one of the places that people say is one of the places to go.
Okay.
And we won't name it here, but it's good. What I will say, it is not pizza. It is a pie. Is it better? I don't know, but it's really good. But you got to knife and fork this bitch. You can't it's she thick, all right? It's big.
Thick!
It's like you gotta, all right, we don't want to get people mad at us, but
well,
yeah,
maybe. I don't know. Let's drink about it, though.
Let's drink about it. Are you ready to stop talking about your love life and start talking some beer news?
You can't ask me that.
All right, let's do it.
beer news.
It is, in fact, October, people, which means it's time for pumpkin beers.
Yay!
They're hitting the market. Get your hands on them. Oh yeah, Gabe's got his Jack Skellington on brand.
Jack Skellington says hi.
Very on brand.
He's ready for the next pumpkin beer shoot. He was in it last year. He was featured. Well, he'll probably be featured again.
He'll be back. It's coming sometime soon. At some point, not today, but before the month is up. We love pumpkin beers. We talk about it every year. A pumpkin beer, polarizing, not for everyone, and definitely not a year-round thing. But once a year, twice a year, if you can find a good one, get on it. So if you see especially if they're aged in a barrel, because that is our brand.
Exclamation point!
There's nothing better than a good pumpkin beer aged in a rum barrel.
They're just so good. They're so complex. They're so different. They're perfect for the season. You know, they're just, like you said, they're polarizing, but we love them. I had one the other night. It was a good time.
And we're going to give a shout out here to President Jimmy Carter. Now, James Carter. Not my favorite president, and that's for one specific reason, and that he's known for like harvesting peanuts or something, which is my mortal enemy of life. But jokes aside, he's probably one of the better American presidents in history, just as a dude. Apparently not doing so hot. Why are we talking about Jimmy Carter? He turned 99 this week. He's largely credited with making the craft beer movement that we know today possible. He signed legislation during his tenure as American president in 1978 that made home brewing legal. Prior to that, it was illegal to homebrew. And
nice.
Jimmy Cart said, fuck that shit. People want to brew beer. We're going to let them do it. So President Jimmy Carter.
He paved the way for all the extra to come, and we're so thankful for it.
This podcast stands on the shoulders of President Jimmy Carter.
We're gonna make t-shirts.
Yeah, apparently he's not doing so hot, but he's 99 and he's lived a respectable life, and we raise a glass to him on this episode of The Hop today.
Amen. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thanks, Jimmy. All right, let's get to the winners of the Gab. The Great American Beer Festival. The winners were announced at the end of September, and we are going to talk about them like we always do. Spit some numbers at you. This was the 37th edition of the Gab. 303 medals were awarded to 263 breweries. As the festival came to a close, there were over 9,000 beers judged.
Sheesh.
From over 2,000 breweries coming from all 50 states, also Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico.
Nice.
There were 250 judges involved in nailing these down. The festival also worked with over 300 volunteers, and they put out a big list, and we're going to shout out some highlights. Some breweries that have been on our show is usually how we like to read this and sort of what we look for. The brewery, been on a couple episodes of our show. They took the bronze medal in the chocolate beer category for their Because You're Mine. Cape May Brewing made the list for their Oktoberfest, taking home the bronze. Counterweight.
I've had their Oktoberfest beer recently. It's very, very good.
Cape May. We love Cape May. We do.
Love Cape May.
Counterweight Brewing was episode 1 of the Hop, round 1. Now, I'm not really suggesting you go listen to that because we probably weren't very good at this back then. But
hey, we're going to record. What do we do?
But the free nature of our show means you can go listen to it if you so desire. They took the bronze for their Ein Helles in the Munich Style Helles category. Let's see. New Belgium took home the gold in the Juicy IPA category. That seems like it was a big deal. That's their Cloudy Juice.
Cloudy.
And then we got Avery Brewing's White Rascal, always a classic, taking home the gold in the Belgian Style Wit. Allagash also made the list, and Allagash was named Brewery Group Brewery and Brewer of the Year as well. So that's a big prize for them.
We also love Allagash. They're big. We're in support of them 100%.
Oh, yeah.
But I had a question. How do you become a judge at the Great American Beer Festival? Because you know what? First of all, I would love to do it. Second of all, there has to be like shifts, right?
Yeah, I would imagine they're not all drinking all these beers. I feel like every time we talk about this, we also have this conversation.
Probably,
and
yeah.
We've, 4 years running, we should have gotten some answers by now. Because I feel, not to toot our own horn, I think we're qualified at this point. I think,
like, what does it take at this point? Like, let's be real. What do you taste?
We're definitely not experts. That's kind of the point. But we have been running the podcast for almost 4 years. At this point, we genuinely almost have a degree's worth of experience.
Oh, man. It's like we're graduating from Hop University.
Yeah. So
we should get those little tassels.
Gab 2024, hit us up. The complete list of winners is available on the Brewers Association website, or you can go to Full Pint or one of those some such organizations to see the list. There's a lot of different categories, and go see if your favorite brewery took home a medal this year at the Gab.
Congratulations, winners.
Yes. Oh, we should probably gotta hand it up.
All right, our lovely friends at none other than White Lion Brewing Company.
Hey, there he is.
We love those guys. They are officially opening their Amherst tap room. We had talked about them. I mean, let's be real. We talk about them as much as we can. We love them. We love their stuff. That triple IPA, we talk about it all the time. They were previously working on opening a new tap room, and they're doing it with the help of an former NBA icon, Marcus Camby. If you know the NBA, if you know Marcus Camby, he played for a lot of different teams, played for the Knicks, played for the Clippers, played for the Portland. He played for my Raptors. So I was glad to be able to do this part of the news and notes. Thank you, Steven.
Happy to help.
Oh, yeah. So he's helping White Lion. He's getting his foot in the brewery game. It would be dope if they could like name a beer after him, like a lion, but it's like got a jersey on, whatever. They're going to operating a small pilot brew house, tap room, and kitchen in Amherst. Complement to the Amherst Brewing Company's brew pub at the Hangar on University Drive. So if you are in, near, or around Amherst and you want to check out their tap room, do it. They also have a dope tap room in Springfield, Massachusetts. We've been 7 times. A lot of fun, a lot of great beer, a lot of great atmosphere, great people, great marketing. And we know firsthand from the Springfield location that when they do it new, it looks new. So like it looks nice, but it's like, it just really looks nice. The signs, the front door, the seating, like everything is like, whoa, this is dope.
Yeah, and White Lion, I mean, as Gabe said, they come up on the show a lot. They've been on our show numerous times, 3 episodes, I think 6, 7 beers, 8 beers at this point. I don't even know. We've done a taproom special. We're big fans. You talk about a company that's doing everything right. White Lion is absolutely one of them. So it's awesome to see them expanding the operation, getting something going that had been in their sights since, pre-COVID, and now it's coming to fruition. It's awesome. We wish them the best.
And we met them when we went to go visit, and they were very nice people.
Yeah.
What's better than that?
Gonna have to get up to Amherst, I guess.
Yeah.
And finally, speaking of, we brought them up before, but Cape May Brewing, just a little bit of news out of the New Jersey area. They're shutting down Cape May Distributing. Prior to this move, Cape May had been self-distributing their products. They had a distribution arm. They're divesting from that. They're shutting that down, and they're selling their portfolio of beers to 4 family-owned distribution companies in the New Jersey region. All of these companies are part of the Molson Coors network in the area, but they are family-owned distributors. Financial terms of the deal have not been disclosed, but it was completed at the end of September. Cape May products are now being managed by Kramer Beverage Company of Hamilton, New Jersey. That's most of them. Also, Peerless Beverage Company, Shore Point Distributing, and Kohler Distributing. So, again, all based out of New Jersey. What does it mean in terms of the distribution of these products? Maybe they'll become more widely available. Maybe, they might be hitting markets they weren't in before. Remains to be seen. I will say that Cape May Brewing did mention in a press release that they are going to actively be supporting former employees of Cape Beverage Distributing, the distribution company. They'll be supporting them, offering job placement assistance, severance packages, benefits, things like that. So they're trying to do right by their employees.
Nice.
We don't cover distribution news that often, but it felt worth mentioning because it's a brewery that's been on our show. And
I laughed when you said the financial details haven't been given yet because of one of the last stories we had where someone was buying something and they paid like $85 million in cash, and we were both like, "What the hell?"
Cash transaction under the table.
Unreal.
Yeah. Okay, that's the news. Gabe's proposing a toast, and I'm just gonna take it on myself to play the Wedding Bells music for you because you're not given it a choice.
True that. I do not have a poem today. I do not have a saying. I do not have a song. I just have words from the heart. Because, yes, I recently, over this past weekend, got engaged. It's very surreal. It's very exciting. It's a step in the right direction, and I'm very excited to do it with this person who I love. It was just so crazy because the entire day was so perfect that I kept waiting for all right, well, there's gonna be a hiccup somewhere, and there wasn't. The worst thing that happened was I got a little sunburn. I'll take it. But I just wanted to raise a toast to my future wife, who I love, who loves me, who, when I tell her I have to get beer for the podcast, she doesn't shy away. She goes on her computer and says, well, they have it at this place. She supports me in everything I do. I support her in everything she does. She's a badass little lady who recently got a new job, so I'm proud of her for that. And we've been engaged for a matter of hours at this point. So we'll see what the future holds, and we'll see if y'all like, comment, subscribe, maybe you'll get invited to the wedding. Cheers.
That's a big promise to make on the mics.
I didn't check in with her about that, so I might get in trouble for that one, but we'll see.
You're not supposed to be making me feel emotions yet. This is going to be a long road. We'll get there. I need to process it. That was
Steven,
very
my plan is to make you cry by the end of the night.
Well, you're well on your way. I already claim this as my favorite toast of the year at the end when we do our beer and review. It's pinned. It's mine already. You have to pick a different one.
So you're telling me at the end of the year when we're picking favorite shit, and you say, Gabe, what was your favorite toast? And I say, oh, the one I dedicated to my future wife. You're gonna go, no, I took that. Pick another one. That's mine,
asshole. Find something else.
Okay. Deal. I mean, he did call it. That is the rule. So, whatever.
Okay, we're going to drink some beer now.
So this is great because we actually have the same beers this time. When was the last time that happened?
It never happens, and it's awesome. And honestly, Half Acre Brewing, I feel bad because we were like upstaging them with your wedding, but
oops.
Half Acre Brewing or Half Acre Beer, however they describe themselves, they are big, and it's kind of surprising that it's taken us this long to get them on the show. So I'm excited by this one. It's always exciting when we get to get off the coasts and dive into the middle
I think
of the country.
We've touched Chicago once or twice, off color. the others, but it's awesome when we get a middle of the country beer, because they're sometimes hard to get. But I saw this owl and I said, "Oh, bang, let's go!"
And here we go. So we're starting things off with the Daisy Cutter Pale Ale, one of the classics. This beer comes in at 5.2% ABV. IBUs are at 60. Beer Advocate has it at 92, Untapped at 3.79, and it's one of the OGs, one of the classics. Like I said, first brewed in 2009. It's not the flagship beer of this company, but it's really one of them. It's, the most widely available.
This is a beer that even if you don't know, sorry to cut you off, if you don't know who Half Acre is, you know this beer because of the flowers. You know Daisy Cutter. You've heard of this. You've seen it. You'll love it.
Yeah, and here it is in the glass. If you are on YouTube, you can take a look at the SRM chart. It's a dark amber color. I would put mine, yours seems a little lighter than mine on camera, but I would put mine around a 14, 15 on the SRM chart, maybe.
Yeah, mine's darker in person than on camera. I think it's the camera and the lighting and whatnot.
It's like a dark amber color poured with a off-white head, creamy, pillowy, like a little cloud, and it's got some decent retention to it. Not much lacing, but the retention is there, and it's sort of just sits on top. It looks like a West Coast IPA, if I'm honest. It's like fairly clear in color, but it's a pale ale, so it's a little bit lower ABV. It's possibly a little bit less in the hoppy bite. It's probably got a little bit more malt to it, but that's what it looks like.
It kind of smells like that too, to be honest with you. There's a little bit of dankness with this when you take a sniff off of it. It's got those IPA characteristics. It is a little fruity, but kind of earthy and very like. Rooted in that in a way. It smells like an IPA though to me. Like if I, blindfolded, I'd be like, we got an IPA, let's drink it. It's probably going to be like 6-7%. So it might not get you silly like one and still taste good, which is great because, sometimes you don't need that.
Yeah. What distinguishes the pale ale is that it tends to have that malty backbone, which I do get in this a little bit. The malt is a little bit more present. I think sometimes the IPAs, especially the West Coast IPAs, are well, actually both, but in different ways. They're so dominated by the hops that it's just all about the fruit, all about the citrus. This, when you smell it, you do get some caramel malt character. You do get a little bit of biscuit, a little bit of the toasted quality, which you really don't get very much on the IPAs. That, and like I said, the ABV tends to be a little bit lower on these than it is in some of the in the IPAs. So it's sitting at 5-point-something%. What did I say? 5.2. Yeah, it's a fairly easy drinker in that regard. But with the IBUs at 60, it's definitely going to have some bite. To your point, there is a dankness when you smell this for sure.
It's going to cut into you like a daisy would.
Like a daisy cutter. See what we did there? We landed the plane. All right.
Slit your throat.
Drink some beer.
Salud.
Salud.
Ooh, that's easy going down.
Super easy to drink. It's like pale ales are like an IPA watered down a little bit. Like I don't want to say it that way because it's not that this tastes watered down. It's just it's a little bit less like the bite is there. It's got the dank. It's got tropical qualities. You get a little bit of mango. You get a little bit of pineapple. You get the citrusy qualities. You get the pithiness. You get the malt as well. There's some honey in there. There's some biscuit in there, like some crackeriness to it. But it's just a little bit more muted on the mouth than some of the IPAs can be. And that makes it easier to drink, to your point.
I'm finding that the smell had more of the fruity ingredient qualities to it. I feel like on the taste, I'm getting just kind of a little bit of dankness and a little bit of earthiness without a lot of like flavor, so to speak. But it is really strong on the nose. It does make you kind of think back to those IPAs or, the classic like Citra and Mosaic and things like that. But it is very earthy. It is very easy to sip. This is a classic after work beer.
Yeah,
like
perfect.
You can go to the brewery or you can take it out of your fridge. You had a long ass day, you know, or a long week, and you just want to like loosen the tie and have a beer with your friends. You grab one of these, you know.
Yeah, and I think there's a nice there are a lot of flavors in it to me, but to your point, they're muted. They're just a little bit more subtle. They're a little bit more, you know, it is one that if you had a 6-pack of this, like you just drink it, don't think about it, you're good to go. There's a nice florality to it, a little bit of lavender. Maybe I'm thinking florality because I'm looking at the daisies on the can. I don't know, but it's got a lot going on. It's got a lot of subtle layers to it that'll keep you engaged, but it's just easy drinking enough that I don't think you're going to notice those unless you're really looking for them. I think it's just going to be just a nice, simple drinking beer. The mouthfeel is, it's moderately carbonated. It is
carbonation's really solid, I have to say. Mm-hmm. It's really nice, and it's not too heavy. It's not too strong. It's like perfect for the type of. I guess it's perfect for the ABV amount because, you know, if it's gonna be, you don't want the carbonation to be so strong, but I mean it tends to spike a little bit when it gets stronger and heavier. So. Yeah,
and it leaves a lingering, like, you know, it drinks like an IPA in that it leaves a lingering bitterness in your mouth. I just think that this is the perfect beer for after work, like you said, or you want to keep it light, or other end of the spectrum, you've had a few, you want one more, but you don't want to like tip that seesaw over.
Yeah.
Grab a daisy cutter. It's not going to do too much damage.
Yeah. This is gonna keep your night going while keeping you going. And not face down on the floor. I talked to my.
It sounded like a Ford commercial. From the brewery, Daisy Cutter is one of the first beers we brewed at our Lincoln Ave brewery. It began as a special release bomber and caught fire. Back in 2009, there were some local pale ales that hit with natural power, but not many. Daisy Cutter's lush and dank characteristics carved out a place within the Chicago brewing landscape. Today, Daisy Cutter is a call brand that we continue to keep raw and relevant. Blended pine, citrus, papaya, and mango. Dank, apparent biscuit, obscenely dry. And it is.
It is dry.
It is dry.
It is dry.
For sure.
Yeah, this is fun for me. This is a solid beer. I almost said goes well like the beginning of a flight, but it's kind of, I don't know if I've ever gotten a flight and gotten a pale ale, to be quite honest. I tend to go for like that sounds good, that looks good, that's high in ABV, and what the hell is that, you know? But
when I'm doing a flight, I will throw a pale ale in there depending on what the beer list looks like. But to be honest, it's either like, it's never going to be like a pale ale and also a Marzen or something. Like, I'm either going to go either or.
Yeah.
A lager or a pale ale. Like, they kind of serve the same function, and I usually go for the lagers just because stylistically it's just very different. But I think it's very good. It's just like, it just does what it is what it is, you know? No twists or turns on this one. It's just really solid. And I think to their point in that description, like if you go back to 2009, this is probably one of the beers that could be credited with making the American Pale Ale what it is today. You know?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, this beer really like sets the tone. It kind of puts it gives the pale ale beers a platform to stand on and say proudly, we are pale ales and we are not going to get you drunk depending on who you are.
I want to retract my statement on lacing though, because there is a good amount of sudsy, soapy lacing going down the glass, which just is reminiscent of the dankness that is definitely present in it. So
the company was founded by me. I'm kidding.
It was founded by a Gabriel.
It was founded by a Gabriel.
A fellow Gabriel.
Gabriel Magliaro, it seems. It was debuting with their Half Acre Lager in 2007. That is when the Brewery was founded, originally brewed beer in Black River Falls, Wisconsin. Don't know where that is. But it was for all of the Chicago bars and shops that would have them, honestly. They reached out, they made it happen, and they started it up. In 2008, they stitched their Lincoln Ave brewery together with what they are calling, we used equipment and sweat. This is where we first brewed our Daisy Cutter Pale Ale in 2009. You need equipment and sweat. That's what I've heard. It's what it takes to start a brewery.
Used equipment. Yeah, so they started in Wisconsin and they moved their company to Chicago, which is where they're now based, but it all began in Black River Falls. Gabe and I don't know Wisconsin. We should. Go Pack Go.
You should know Wisconsin.
Go Pack Go. In 2013, they moved to their current location, which is on Balmoral Ave. If you know Chicago at all, that's where Gabe and I are. They have, if you're on YouTube, you can take a look at the tap room behind me and the nice bar in this location. And then if you take a look up at Gabe, he's outside in the nice beer garden they've got outside the spot. So it looks dope. That basically, much larger facility, and it allowed them to grow into the regional brewery that they are. And they are, a large Midwestern brewery, as we alluded to. They say they've poured their beers at festivals all over the world. They've collaborated with a lot of celebrated breweries, and they continue to innovate and continue to grow. They are solely out of the Balmoral location now. That update took place in 2021. But the taproom looks awesome. I mean, it's one that you definitely would want to hit if you're passing through Chicago.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. It seems to be pretty spacious. The beer garden, which if you're on YouTube, that's where I am located. I'm outside in the sun because I didn't learn my lesson after getting sunburned. It is really dope. It's open, all the time, and they go big with it here. They really spaced it out and made it its own thing. But it's a lot of fun, and I'm sure they got these lights, so I'm sure at night they light these puppies up, and it's just there's nothing better than sitting outside on a cool night with lights on and a beer in your hand. Seriously.
Yeah, and they got a food menu too. This isn't a food truck situation. They do actually have a kitchen, and they are cooking up food, and it's something for everybody. They got your cheese curds, Wisconsin, and your chicharrones. They got some bougier stuff, some oxtail friti. Who serves oxtail? That's crazy. Good for them.
The restaurant behind our Harlem apartment served oxtail, that beer garden. When you don't think about it, it's kind of like a steak in a way. It's just a little piece of meat. It's word.
Listen, I'd be down. I've dabbled. I've eaten the escargot, the bone marrow. I've eaten some weird shit.
You gotta try.
I'll give it a go.
You gotta try escargot because if they do it right, it's literally all you taste is garlic and cheese. Which
I was just gonna say that nobody knows what escargot tastes like. It just tastes like garlic.
It's garlic and cheese.
No idea, but.
The bone marrow, you lose me on because maybe they just did it wrong, but I had it once and it was it was just a little too.
It tasted like fat. It just tasted like
a little too it wasn't I love a fatty piece. I'm bad. I shouldn't do this, but the fatty piece of steak, when they're a little bit of meat, I'll eat that. I don't care. I think it's good. But this was just watery fat, and it's just it doesn't settle in anything. It's it
was very oily. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know people like it. Listen, we're probably wrong, but somebody enlighten us where to get good bone marrow, because I'm with you. It tasted like oil, and I was like,
the other one good thing about it is the presentation, because anytime a server hands you a plate and there's a bone and they're eat off the bone, that's pretty cool.
It's cool. Yeah. It makes you feel, like you did something exotic that day. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can't get bone marrow at this brewery, but you can get oxtail and other stuff in their beer garden and chicken sandwich burgers. Making me hungry. It looks great.
Yeah. I'm in awe. I want to go. I love Chicago. Loved it. I stayed with a buddy of mine who I went to school with. He was literally a 5-minute walk from Wrigley Field. So like we were in like the downtown area. Like it was beautiful. It was very nice. I think Chicago is a blend of like New York and California in a way. It's got like essence of both. It's
Midwest, and that's a beautiful thing too. Like I think it's its own thing, at least when I went there, but it's a great city. It's just not one that we end up in as much because we're coastal bitches. But yeah, Half Acre is one you want to stop at if you're a brewery person visiting Chicago. And if you're not into pale ales, can we divert your attention to another beer?
Do we have something for you? If you don't like pale ales and you hate astronauts, you're going to love this. This is the Beer Hates Astronauts. Look at that fucking can artwork. Ugh! It looks so dope. It's got a tiger on it, which is why I suggested we drink this. Steven can vouch for that. This is part of their specialty series. It's an IPA. It's apparently very popular. It's one of the well-known ones. It is 7.8%. No IBUs to speak of. Beer Advocate gave it a 97. Holla. Untapped gave it a 4.1. The note from the brewery says, thanks to Ryan Brown, this beer gets weirder every year. Hell yeah. What holds true is its intense focus on Citra, one of hop farming's niftiest tricks. Some years back, we moved the yeast to London 3 to plump it up, and it served this beer well. The beer lands, a strawberry and cream set on pillows on top of pillows. While bone-dry IPAs have a foothold in the sensory moonscape of Half Acre, big plush blooms of flavor like this, having a big bunk in our little hostel. Beer Hates Astronauts is a liquefied testament to Ryan Brown's comic God Hates Astronauts, which is a real comic that at one point was the can artwork for this beer. It was literally just a comic strip wrapped around the can. It is based off of a comic book where it appears there's a tiger trying to eat a burger or kill someone. I'm not really sure, but he's doing his thing, and we're excited to drink it. And this is what it looks like.
And there it is. And yeah, this brewery, props for the words. I mean, I don't know who's writing this stuff, but big plush blooms of flavor have a big bunk in our little hostel. I mean, eggplant, you know what I mean?
Oh, no. Eggplant? Mike, can we start that? Like when someone says something that makes you like excited, you're like, ooh, eggplant. You're like, what?
I like it. Hashtag eggplant. Tag the hop. Yes. Did we do the stats? We did already. And in the glass, it's here. I got it in a little wolf glass. I don't have a glass with a tiger on it, but I got a wolf because if you leave one wolf alive, the sheep are never safe. And it is on the SRM chart. It's definitely lighter than the last one I was drinking. It is probably maybe a 6 or 7. It's very clearly hazy. Looks like a New England IPA. I will say it poured with no head at all on my end. I don't know about you.
Nope.
And it looks like juice. I mean, there's no head retention. There's no lacing. It just, if I didn't know better, I'd say this was flat and it looked like juice. But
or a triple IPA.
A tempting trip.
Yeah, this is the tripas sometimes look like this because it's like it's not cloudy, it's not hazy, it's just like full.
It's just tempting you. It's just daring you to come in.
It's daring you to fight this tiger guy. And then on the other side, there's this, I don't know what this is. It's a man horse robot with a sandwich. Classic.
Love it.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah, and it's 7.8% ABV. I mean, it's not even classified as a double. It's just an IPA, but 7.8% is right at that line, right? 8% you've crossed over into double land. So it's definitely one to be respected and take note of. So yeah, here we go. And on the nose, I mean,
fruitiness, piney hops.
Yep.
A little bit of honey, I think.
Yeah, it's very sweet on the nose. It's citrusy, but it's got all of the tropical, the guava, the mango is there, the center of the orange, not necessarily the pithiness part of it. It's got a pininess and a dankness to it, and definitely some caramel, some honey.
Maybe a little melon.
A little muskmelon.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it smells like a classic tropical IPA, but it definitely smells like the Citra is center mic. The Citra has stepped up. If this is a boy band, the Citra slid out. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
Do you not picturing that?
If this is a boy band, the Citra or the orange went center stage and like went off.
That's what I mean. They did they did the slide out.
To the left. Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck am I talking about? Should we drink it now?
Might as well. We got nothing else to do.
Cheers.
Oh yeah. I will admit I have had this before on a beach in New Jersey, but I wasn't analyzing it then. At that point, I was just like, an IPA, all right. Now I'm like, damn, the flavors are very strong. It's very sweet on the palate. The carbonation, I feel like, accents the flavors, and it like makes it kind of just swirl around in your mouth when you're trying to swallow it. So there's a lot going on, and you wouldn't think there would be, There's
a reason that Citra hops are so focused, are so predominant in the New England juicy IPA world, and it's because that citrus is so intense and so strong and powerful and delicious, and it really plays nicely into this style. It's interesting that I said it looks like orange juice because it honestly tastes like it. It's a very specific kind of orange. It's like you do get a little bit of the rind, but it's like it's the feeling of having orange juice in your mouth. I mean, there's no like sediment or pulp, but it's like you can almost feel the pulp in your mouth. It's so similar to orange juice in that way.
It kind of tastes also a little bit like a clementine, or the smaller guys.
Yeah, that world of citrus is definitely there. And I think what they mentioned about the yeast, plumping it up, and the malt that they chose to use, it's pillowy, it's luscious, it's what's the word we tend to use in that I'm thinking of? Fluffy. It's fluffy.
Fluffy. I was gonna say eggplant.
It's eggplant. I mean, full eggplant. You know what I mean?
Eggplant. Oh man, we're gonna get some letters.
We're gonna get some emails. It's really good. It's a really good classic New England IPA. If you like New England IPAs, you will like this. I don't even know if they call it a New England IPA. They probably don't. They probably call it a hazy IPA, but
it's so interesting because the Daisy Cutter is more resembles the West Coast style, whereas this more resembles the New England style. So it's like a best of both worlds. Hannah Montana.
Wow, we're crushing it today. We are we are banging on all cylinders. Hannah Montana. Yeah, it's definitely. I think the Daisy Cutter is like it's a pale ale, so it's again a little more muted, but it's definitely more in the world of the bitter hoppiness, and this is more citrusy, more sweet, more juicy. It's very good. And they brew it every year, and they tweak it every year, make it a little different every year, tweak up the can art a little every year, but it always comes back because it's clearly beloved. And it is a good reminder to me, because Gabe and I have talked a lot on the show about how tired we get of the Citra mosaic thing. I think this is a good reminder of like why Citra is so powerful, prominent, dominant. It's because it brings a lot to the party.
And the other thing is we also haven't had a beer like this in a while on the show. So there's a moment of like, oh, remember?
True.
So there's that. It doesn't make sense to rank these, but
no.
If you had to drink one of these while playing cornhole, what beer would you choose and why?
Excellent question. If I had to play, I like this as a test. Playing cornhole, I'm going with the hazy because I can play cornhole drunk. Playing like golf, maybe Daisy Cutter. If I need to.
That's a good point.
Volleyball, maybe a hot day in the sun on the beach, I might Daisy Cutter just because the sun and the alcohol. But cornhole, I can do drunk, 6 beers in. That's why it's cornhole. It's there for me.
I agree. I'm the same way. I think I'd go for the beer hates astronauts, but it would be like an afterthought. It would be like, oh, I love this beer. I'm going to drink this. Gabe, we're up to play. Well, we're in it now. And I would just go and like sink it. It would be great. Yeah. I played on the beach back in the summer. The best.
It's a good time. It's always a good time. All right. How does Bob feel about the engagement? Does he feel sad like he's losing a partner? I mean, has he been consulted? Is he going to be the best man?
He's not going to be the best man. I'll say that now. And that's why he hasn't spoken to me in the past week and a half. Because he knew this was coming. So, but I mean, he showed up to work. Like, he's not going to disappoint the fans. He might disappoint me because he doesn't give a shit. But he's not going to disappoint everyone listening.
Well, this is going to be awkward. Tension!
Can art and crafts.
Can artwork. Let's go look at some art. Let's think about it. Let's see if it brings anything out of us. Pretend you're at the Met. We got the classic daisy cutter, classic silver can, daisies, hand-drawn, it seems, orange and white lettering. It's beautiful. It's classic. You know what it is. You've seen it before. You've had it before. You've loved it before. And then the stakes have been so raised as we get into the beer hates astronauts. We've got a tiger-looking guy with a crown that looks like a pumpkin, eating 1,000 burgers. He's got a burger in each of his saber teeth with a bunch of people behind him. And then, when you flip the can around, you've got this horse, robot, man thing, which apparently seems to be a superhero, and his arm is on fire, he's texting, and he's eating a sandwich, and he's got some people behind him. Listen, these two characters look like they should be fighting each other in, like, Tekken. Like, I feel like they should just be fighting in a video game. The artwork is incredible. The Daisy Cutter, I'm giving a solid 8 because it's original and you know what it is. But this beer hates astronauts. It's hard not to open the front door to the club for them. We're going to go with 10 out of 10 for this. I mean, it's just insanely artistic and so detailed, and there's so much to it. And I've never said this before, but I'm going to say it. There's a small part of me that doesn't understand why these characters are on the can. But guess what? It doesn't matter, Karen. It doesn't matter because it's so cool and it's so interesting. Bob Ross is here. Bob Ross loves me, whether he's ignoring me or not. He's not going to be the best man because, well, how would we explain that? And that is another great edition of Can Arts and Crafts.
You wouldn't have to explain it to me. That'd be awesome. So what does the brewery have on tap? I'll just say it. A lot of IPAs. Really big into the IPA world. We got your Imperial IPAs. We got your hazy IPAs, your West Coast IPAs. Pale ales, IPAs, that's kind of more or less dominant. I mean, they have a Pilsner here. They have an Oktoberfest there. You know me. I'm Steven. I'm going to go scroll right down to that whole barrel section. I'm going to just look over there and tell you.
So it's funny you mentioned that because that's the first thing I clicked on. And I was like, yeah, no one cares about the normal stuff. Let's talk about the World of Bog, a barrel-aged barley wine at 14%.
It's just crazy because the pictures of all of these, like the pictures on their website are all very beautiful pictures of all the beers. But if you scroll down specifically to the barrel section, I feel like they're all like neon and like the colors are popping and it's just like drawing me in. Like every single one of them: barrel-aged stout, barrel-aged barley wine, bourbon barrel-aged stout, barrel-aged strong ale. I mean, where is Michael when you need him?
Exclamation point!
It's just...
you know what these photos look like? You know what these photos remind me of?
What?
Couple years ago during the NFL season, every Thursday, those teams wore a specific kind of jersey. Say it with me, Steven. Color Rush!
Yes.
That was the best. Those neon, like, bright uniforms. I used to look forward to Thursday.
Quick tangent. They've gotten it away from it a little bit, but there are still teams pulling out some shit. And I don't know how you feel about the Bengals all whites and the Browns all whites, but both of those...
Fire.
Don't like the teams, but I mean,
the Bengals, the white helmets, really tie it all together. Yeah,
and baseballs.
The Bengals. I'm excited for the Bucks orange creamsicle ones.
Yeah,
those are the throwback ones. Why not? I got Chris Godwin in one of my leagues. Let's go.
The MLB is trying it a little bit too. They got the City Connect thing going on, and some of those are also straight fire. San Francisco. Cleveland? No, Cincinnati. Cincinnati's
are nice. I think
black and red.
I think the Miami Marlins have a couple good ones. Miami, for some reason, is very good at like eye-popping colors. I'm waiting for the Miami Dolphins to have, so their primary colors are like the teal and the orange.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for like an all black and the numbers be like teal orange, really popping. Ooh. Like, who on the Dolphins do I need to call? I'll design these for you.
Tua, get it going. We know he's listening. Yeah. So anyway, that's what they have on tap. Anyway, beer. They have some other stuff every now and then. They got a Continental Series right now, which is bringing in some Schwartz beers, some Hefeweizens, more on the lager side. But
this picture of 3 beers has a knife in it. That's interesting.
And it's their Imperial Pale Ale. It looks, Imperial India Pale Ale, 10%. Yeah.
Not bad.
It's a sweet picture. The one thing I would say, if they're missing anything, if you're a sour person, I'm not seeing much for you yet, but, maybe...
If you're a sour person, you have to leave.
You might want to, go somewhere else. But they have a lime lager in there. That'll get you going a little bit. So it's awesome. It's the kind of beers we love. It's a brewery that's true to who they are. It's a brewery that's true to what got them here. And so if the IPA and the pale ale is what built you up as a company when you started, I mean, in 2007, like this is pre-craft beer boom. You know what I mean? This is a long time ago. This is pre us being in high school, let alone college. I was going to say it's pre us being in college, but it's a long time ago. So
I had to think about when I graduated high school. I legitimately went, wait, is he right? Yeah, he's right. Yeah. I had to think about it for a second.
Like it's not the kind of, we don't look at this brewery and go, oh yeah, Sierra Nevada, Anchor. Like it's not that old, but it's been around a long time, and it's definitely, it predates the kind of, the boom that we see now. So it's a brewery to be respected. And they do what they do really well. And I've thoroughly enjoyed the beers we had here. So Half Acre, our hats are off.
Real quick, we got to talk about this logo because I didn't notice it until now. So there's this owl head, and you think, oh, it's a little barn owl. That's cute. I just noticed the barn owl has like octopus tentacles.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is like a mutant X-Men sort of deal, but I'm into it. It's a little weird and fun.
Barn owl with tentacles, not on brand for Steven, but I don't like birds, and consequently I don't like owls, but
how do you feel about octopus?
Weird creature. I don't know if you've seen that movie, the one that was nominated for like best documentary.
I haven't seen it yet. That's right.
Yeah, Shit. There's like a guy falling in love with an octopus. They are weird creatures, man. There's some.
Have you ever eaten octopus?
I have.
It's not bad. It's actually really good. I hate to say that because I love animals, but
and I feel a little bad saying that now that we just talked about that documentary, because that guy really loved that octopus. But yes, I have.
Should have eaten it.
I have consumed it. Okay, we need to get out of here. We're running low on time, but we're gonna tackle this story before we go. It is time.
Let's get sexy, huh?
It's time for last call.
Last call.
I like this story because I think it's going to spark interesting debate, and I want to talk about it.
Let's do it.
There was a teacher in Missouri who was fired from her job at the end of September because it came out, she's a high school teacher, she's an English teacher, and it came to light that she was doing the OnlyFans thing on the side. She was running a little side hustle. She was bearing it all, and
she was showing what her mama gave her. We can say it.
And the moms and dads didn't like that all that much. So she was interviewed by the Associated Press. She said it was a cloud hanging over her head. She didn't know if she would be discovered or not. She didn't film any content at school. She didn't do anything wrong necessarily. It's just, that's why she was let go. So we're not here to shame her at all. That's not the point of this. I'm just intrigued by the story, and just I really just wanted to hear your thoughts. Just hold your thoughts on it because it's interesting.
So, all right, I've been drinking, so I'm not gonna feel bad about saying this. The first thing that comes to my head, well, two things. The first thing that came to my head was sucks that she got let go. It's tough because, you're teaching high school kids, depending on the morality police came out of the woodwork and said, hell no. But here's the other thing I had. So she's a high school teacher. She got caught, and then she led to her firing. Who on the school staff was having an evening?
That's the interesting part right there.
Came across, was just scrolling along and said,
no, it's Miss Brennan.
Literally though, like, did you watch it? Or were you like, I've seen enough?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. She doesn't know. The Associated Press asked that, she said that she doesn't know how it happened and how she got discovered.
Was the local math teacher just going through a divorce, man? It's really rough right now, and I'm just alone at night, alone. And then he pulls up, the computer, and he's like, "Oh, I had lunch with her today."
Oh no, Susan. Yeah, it's just. It's crazy because it's I am a big proponent of first of all, sex work is work. If you got it, flaunt it, do what you got to do. And also the bigger story here, more than anything, to be honest with you, is that she's an English teacher teaching freshmen and sophomores, and she made about $40,000 a year, a little more than that. And that
sucks.
That's awful. That's what we're paying our teachers. The fact that she had to turn to something else to make ends meet is more just a sign of where we are as a nation. And
the other thing is she says she earns an additional $8,000 to $10,000 per month doing this OnlyFans thing. But since this article came out, her business has skyrocketed. She may not be teaching anymore, but listen, let me tell you something. I was a camp counselor at one point. Kids are the worst.
Look,
so you kind of lucked out, baby girl.
If you put in the work, the OnlyFans can be a lucrative, but it does take work, from what I hear. But I do look. I don't know
if you want to follow Steven's OnlyFans, his username is
no, definitely not. No. But I think that it's interesting that she was fired for this. First and foremost, I would be fascinated to see what the grounds of termination is. Is she is it part of her contract? But and then I want to know how she got caught and what the conversation was. Was it the principal that stumbled upon this? Was it one of the students? I mean,
OnlyFans is interesting because I've looked at it once just because I'm what is this? It's a website that doesn't work well, but it's like 90%.
Actually, that's honestly the biggest story that I want to mention here. I'm not saying I've been on it or not been on it, but OnlyFans, if you're listening, if I could speak directly to you, your website sucks. It is the biggest piece of shit on the planet Earth. Get an app.
Y'all need an app. I was just about to say it. It's funny because it's like 90% like what this teacher was doing, and then the other like 10% is like real things. Like it's like a guy like he's like, I offer fitness classes and I keep my clothes on, and it's just like it's so interesting that it's just like on two levels of extremes.
Yeah, they market it as a platform where content creators can gain, kind of like a Patreon situation.
Right, yeah.
But we all know what it is. It's for only your fans. You know what I mean?
It's the sexy Patreon.
Yeah, it's we know what it is. But listen, ma'am, we support you. Good for you for being on the hustle and on the grind. And if you've got some extra coin and you're looking for an OnlyFans account to follow, hit her up on there because she probably would love it if she gained more followers from there.
And the other thing is, like,
we haven't said her name. I don't know if we should.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't. Okay, so this is what I was gonna say. From the article, obviously we're only reading words, but it sounds like she doesn't really have a lot of shame about this. She's just kind of telling her story. We could say her name. We don't have to. We can keep her quiet, but it sounds like she's professional in a way. Like, I'm sure when she was teaching in the classroom, it was like, we're here to teach. We're not here to do anything else.
Yeah, it's a side hustle. It's a totally separate business. So
also, if she was doing it at home, like, who cares what you saw? Like, she wasn't doing anything on school grounds, so.
Yeah, I just think it's an interesting philosophical discussion, and I'm glad we had it here. And like we said at the beginning, we're not here to shame. If anything, I'm here to shame the school district that fired her and her salary, not her at all. So
that's like, listen, there's always the stereotype of like teachers make nothing, and we have teacher friends that confirm this. But you're a high school English teacher, and like, oh my God, they're not kidding.
Yeah, it's not. It's
like that's rough, man. They're educating the future, and let's be real, kids are assholes. Like,
yes, it's a joke. It's pay teachers more. That's what that's the point of this article. That's the soapbox we're standing on right now. Get teachers paid.
We should make an OnlyFans about promoting more money for teachers.
But we get like a really hot person to market it, so a bunch of people subscribe, and then when they get in there, it's just us being like, "Hi, we're from the Hop, and we have a message for you."
Yeah,
pay teachers.
I bet we can get Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, he'd be down. It's for a good cause.
He was at the Jets game the other day, so he's local. I can call him.
At the real Hugh Jackman on OnlyFans, and you just find Gabe and Steven like, "Hello."
Thumbs up, like big exclamation, like, yeah, we're ready to go. We got a beer in our hand.
Okay, we got to get out of here. Thank you again for joining us for another great round of drinking. Our listeners and everybody else, congrats again to Gabe on the milestone engagement and Half Acre Brewing. Sorry that upstaged your episode, but
Half Acre Brewing we were toasting with their beer, so we're
using their beer to toast Gabe's engagement. Maybe we'll get them to cater the event.
Now we're talking.
I don't know. We got a party to plan. All right, we're gonna get out of here. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Until then, stay classy, drink good beer, and love you guys.
Eggplant.